everybody. Hi. That kind of ended abruptly. I thought I had it fading out. Oh, wow. How is everybody? It's good to see you guys here. Linda's here and Julia's here and Gail. I saw people on earlier lives on Christina's. We got home from Seattle and I literally plopped in a chair and turned on to see what was pouring so I could watch Christine, so I could just Christina and then watch some other. We watched hey, there's Kelly. Hi. Exercising avoidance behavior. I have a project waiting for me on my table and I don't wanna. Kelly. Kelly. I know that whole thing. Why do you think I got all those crazy sketches done the other night? I was totally avoiding facing my hard drive crash and everything. But new hard drive arrived from Glazers. Seriously, Glazers and Kenmore Camera are so amazing up here, but I ordered that yesterday and it's here already today from Glazers. And there is Angie. Hi, Angie. And good to have you here. Yep. Christina was doing some fun things, that Boilermaker, and yeah, gave me all kinds of crazy ideas. Of course, I went down the drink line, which was, Kelly, it would have been right, she was doing a pour that she called a Boilermaker. She used to do years ago. She's been doing it for like 4 years. And so, of course, I went off on this squirrel tangent of, we need to do pours based on drinks. And mine would be a lemon drop. And then I decided I wanted a lemon drop, which I haven't made yet. But that would be fun. Yes. Awesome new hard drive. Sweet. Yes, it's a 4 terabyte. Sucker's heavy. 4 terabyte though. It's a LaCie Rugged Generation 2. And it comes with 2 years of rescue recovery service. Which I think my other one did too, but did I sign up for it? Did I include in the warranty? Did I find? No, I was so excited to get it that I just jumped in and live and learn. Oh, well. So, first off, have to tell you guys, we left the house this morning at before 7. Yeah. And, Bob was concerned that the ferry at Bremerton, the 8:45 ferry, takes us about an hour to get there, would be full. I mean, would we have to be? No. We made it in plenty of time. We were like the 6th car on. We said, and the same way coming home, it was like, it was weird. Larry and Angie, you know this, usually, that Bremerton ferry can be really full. And it was strange to see it so empty and have so much room. Anyway, but took the Bremerton ferry across to Seattle, hopped down, headed and went to Mohi, which is on Lake Union, and which is the Museum of History and Industry. And it's in an old Navy administration building that's on Lake Union. And like the floors in it, I have some, I'll pull those together, the videos and stuff. The floors in it are original from 1942, and they're cedar butt-ends of cedar 2x4s. Yeah, and they're all just boom, and this beautiful hardwood floor, just incredible. But the Ansel Adams exhibit was stellar, was really, really, really amazing. And then they had 2 or 3 adjunct exhibits that went with that in response to Ansel Adams' work, because Adams did a lot for preserving national parks and whatnot, but there was a response, and the things from a a tribal photographer, and how that even though it was great that he's preserved this, what had happened to have all those lands that are being preserved being taken from people. There was one somebody from a high school senior that responded to his work with some other things from historical from around the Northwest, and then there was one based on the Black community response to what was and wasn't shown in photographs. It was very cool. They just did a nice job on that. So the exhibit was great. So I was glad to get to see it. It's only here like until September 5th or something like that. And I wanted to make sure I saw it. So that was fun. Patron top shelf. Margarita with Patron for, ooh, my goodness. Yes, Tinkerbell. So, hang on just a second. I'm going to. Now that mute button comes in handy. Okay. So yeah, very free, folks. Out in the Northwest, it was fun to see all the high-speed water taxi that goes from Seattle to Bremerton, and then the West Seattle taxi, the water taxi, and all of them zipping all over the place and still in use. It's pretty great. And then the other ones. So it was fun. It was such a perfect day. If you've ever been to the Northwest and ridden one of our ferries, you know it is a rare day that you can actually be out on the sun deck, which is an upper deck on the ferry, and not have to wear a jacket or not be whipped around by something cold, and be able to stand at the very front where it's totally exposed and just enjoy the sun and the breeze and have it just hitting you full face, because it's crazy. And it was that kind of day. There was, upper sun deck for an hour, which was nice. Anyway, on to things today. We're very, very free folk. Larry, oh my goodness. So, Larry, you'll have to explain what you have against berries. They're great. It's funny. People, I have a ex-son-in-law who is convinced that the ferries are, he just can't imagine how people would commute on them, and that they would drive their car on these boats and have it be, and I'm like, really? Really? Because, there's 100, well, it was a fair, I think that Walla Walla holds 192 boats or something, cars like that, something. But I can haul around in this cart. Anyway, I'll be right over. Come on over, Kelly. Yes. I got some video today, and I did some pictures. So I'll put something together in the next, who knows, maybe it might not happen until I get back from Africa, but yes, they can be efficient, or they cannot be. And right now we're having a lot of problems having full, it's not that the boats aren't at full capacity, because they are, but they don't have enough workers because of the way the ferry system runs around here. So sometimes they cancel boats and cancel runs because they just don't have enough staff to run the boat. And so, like the Edmonds to Kingston usually has been running 2 boats, and would during peak hours will run every half hour. They were running 1 boat going once an hour, and then leaving a big gap in the afternoon where it was 3 hours. Like the boat that I went on this afternoon, they were running short, so they were running a limited traffic. So there was a boat that left at 12:50 and not another one until 2:50. So it was a full 2 hours between boats, which sometimes is a lot. And that was going to be running even into commute hours. So it's an interesting thing. Yay. Oh, I have video I need to, yes, I know. I just use iMovie. Julia, when I edit, it's pretty easy. I have friends who use Final Cut Pro, and I have friends who use the other stuff and all that kind of fancy things. I resist editing. That's why I go live and I just do this because I resist editing. And but when I do edit, I use iMovie, and I've figured out the very simplest of it, and then that's it. I still make it too complicated for myself sometimes, but that's what happens. I ferried over to Nantucket some years ago in the befores of the plague. It was fun, the befores of the plague. I use InShot. Oh, can you type it in? Spelling. Oh, iMovie. If you have a Mac computer, it comes on your computer. It's the built-in software in a Macintosh. So anyway, off to story time, I think. So the first story tonight, yes, the first story, is by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell. And it's the version I'm going to read is the 10th anniversary edition. And it's a book that when it came out, and it might be more than 10 years old, was one of those books that even though it's about an animal, it caused a fair amount of some controversy because people saw an underlying theme in it, and there were people who objected to it and others who didn't. I thought it was fine, but boy, it was one of those that some people didn't want in schools. Anyway, we'll watch that. But Justin Richardson, he's the co-author with Peter Parnell of the award-winning picture book And Tango Makes Three. He's an assistant professor of psychiatry at Columbia and Cornell, and the co-author of Everything You Never Wanted Your Kids to Know About Sex, but were afraid they'd ask. And his advice has been featured in the New York Times and Washington Post and on the Today Show. Interesting. Peter Parnell, he's a playwright whose plays have been produced at the Public Theater and Playwrights Horizon in New York City, and the Mark Taper Forum in Los Angeles, and the Seattle Repertory Company, among others. His play QED was produced on Broadway and was written exclusively for television as a producer for both The West Wing and The Guardian. So a lot of kudos to him. And then the illustrator is Henry Cole. Yes, Henry Cole. He has just, let's see, where is this about him? Thoughts of the week. Let's see if it can tell me about him. School visits home. Follow Henry Cole illustration. Welcome to henrycole.net. Turn on the sound. Oh, there's a thing that says, oh, contact doesn't say. He has I love his chicken. Look at that. Kids, illustrations, fans of small furry animals. Click here to send Henry an email message. So he has games that kids can do. He has a library, books, and more books, from wombats and weasels to feathers and felines. Henry Cole has been busy as a beaver illustrating books for all ages. To find out more, so there's his home. His illustration style is varied and fun. And in this book, I think you're going to find it to be just extraordinary. I love it. So this is a book, I'll tell you right now, about penguins. And little backstory on penguins. So penguins were in 1984, when my daughter Annalena was born, we had decided to decorate her nursery in penguins. It was black and white. That was the whole thing, the kids and da-da-da-da-da. This was the early 80s. Penguins were not a thing then. There was not any movies about them. They were not having books done about them. Fred's Pyramid had just been out for a very short amount of time. It's a kid's book. And there were you could not find penguin anything like you can today. So we did manage to find like a penguin beach towel and framed it. And a friend of mine that I taught with embroidered a penguin on a swing from a rainbow. And we did all these things that we could find to make penguins. Well, Annalena was born. It was not an easy situation, but she was born. And 5 days later, I was able to come home from the hospital. And my dad, we hadn't named her yet. And my dad said, either name her or I'm going to start calling her Penguina. So we named her Annalena, which her friends started calling her Annalena Penguina. And oh my gosh. And so she had a penguin collection for a long time. And in fact, my best friend Barb had a penguin collection, and we came home one day and brought her, and Annalena was probably maybe in first grade. And Barb had come by our house and taken all of her own penguins and set them on the front step. And in the front, we had a fountain out front, and so there were penguins playing in the fountains. There were 2 big stuffed penguins with their flippers up, knocking on the door. There was ones on the ledge of the front window, like they were peering in the house. And there was a note, one of them holding a note that said, "Annalena, can we come live with you? Barb's moving away, and we need a place to stay." And so Barb gave her all of her penguins. It was pretty hilarious. So penguins have been part of a thing. In fact, when Annalena and Philip were first engaged, I think when they first were engaged, that one of the first birthday presents that Philip gave her was to have a penguin at the Woodland Park Zoo named after her. And then she got a plaque and the whole thing. Yes. So anyway, so this is a story about penguins, and it's a very cool story. I love it a bunch. So I hope you guys enjoy it too. Let's see what everybody says so far before. Yes. What? Yes. Yeah, so you can imagine what it was like to drive in the driveway with a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old in the back, and and literally see probably 40 penguins all over the front porch and the thing, knocking on the door, and oh my God, it was just hilarious. So this is "And Tango Makes 3. Let me get this over here. There we go. By Justin Richardson, Peter Parnell, and illustrated by Henry Cole. In the middle of New York City, and I'll stop. This is based on a true story. So just so you know, up front, this is based on a true story. In the middle of New York City, there is a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond there where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer, and ice skate in the winter. Best of all, it has its own zoo. Every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers and furry red pandas. Furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey moms raising noisy monkey babies. And there are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarin families too. And the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year, at the same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. I think is it Roy? Oh, yep, Roy and Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other, and they walked together, and they sang to one another, and they swam together, and wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsci, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home, so they built a nest of stones for themselves. And every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together, but one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mama penguin could lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch. And then there would be a baby penguin. So Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like the other penguins were that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock. But Silo carefully sat on it and sat and sat. So when Silo got sleepy, he slept. And when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam. And Roy sat. Day after day, Roy and Silo sat on the rock. But nothing happened. Then Mr. Gramsci got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest. Every day they turned it so that each side stayed warm. Some days Roy sat while Silo went for food, and other days it was Silo's turn to sit and take care of the egg. They sat in the morning, and they sat at night, and they sat through lunchtime and swim time and supper. And they sat at the beginning of the month, and they sat at the end of the month, and they sat all of the days in between. Until one day, they heard a sound coming from inside the egg. Peep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back. Squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. And suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the egg shell, and then, crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a furry black beak, and Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Ramsay decided, because it takes two to make a tango. And Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. And Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest, and Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. "Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango!" they cheered. At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together, and like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals at the zoo, and all the other families in the big city around them, they went to sleep. And this is the author's note. All the events in this story are true. Roy and Silo are called chinstrap penguins because of the delicate line of black feathers that loops under their beaks, as if to hold a hat in place. After years of living side by side in Central Park Zoo, they discovered each other in 1998, and they have been a couple ever since. Tango, their only chick, was born from an egg laid by another penguin couple named Betty and Porky. That couple had often hatched their own eggs, but they had never been able to care for more than one at a time. In 2000, when Betty laid 2 fertile eggs, Rob Ramsay decided to give Roy, Silo, and one of those eggs a chance to become a family. If you go to the Central Park Zoo, you can see Tango and her parents splashing about in the penguin house, along with their friends, including Nipper, Squawk, Charlie, Wasabi, and Pee-wee. There are 42 chinstrap penguins in the Central Park Zoo and over 10 million chinstraps in the world. But there is only one Tango. And this is an afterword to the 10th anniversary edition. For the flightless bird, Tango has traveled remarkably far over the past 10 years. On her way around the globe, she has delighted countless kids, changed some minds about what makes a family, and ruffled more than a few feathers. What stands out? First has to be the 5th graders who got up in their Manhattan gymnasium, speeches in hand, to explain why their class was giving our book an award for furthering Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. Becoming the most banned book in the country was memorable, but not more so than meeting the irrepressible Judith Krug, the late leader of the American Library Association's Office for Intellectual Freedom, who for years fiercely defended the freedom to read. So many generous people stood up for our book over these years, from small-town librarians and kindergarten teachers to stringers on local newspapers, school board members, activists, and authors. We are indebted to them all. There were sobering developments like Singapore's decision to remove every copy of our book from its libraries and pulp them, and joyful ones like the outpouring of support that followed, culminating in a read-in at the Singapore National Library, where hundreds of parents simply sat and read their children our book. The government backed down. Life today is different in so many ways from life in 2005. But for all of the major social and political developments, so this is from 2015, but for all the major social and political developments of the last 10 years, to us, the most significant has been the most local. Following in the webbed footsteps of Roy and Silo, we had a daughter. It is to her that we dedicate this 10th anniversary edition of a book that we hope will continue to spread the word about unconventional families and inspire others to join in the adventure. For Gemma, PP, and JR. the most banned book in the country? A children's book that has such a beautiful message became the most banned book in the country. I remember getting this book in my library and knowing that it was one that I had parents send me notes back and say, please don't let my child or any child in my family check this out. We had it in our library, but I had the policy that if it had been cleared on everything else and it had followed through on all the levels of going through, then if a family didn't want that book checked out, that was fine. They could let me know, and that child would not, their family wouldn't check it out. But they did not have the opportunity to exclude others from checking out a book that just because they didn't agree with it. Ah, yes. Oh, yeah. So, Children's Banned Book Week is coming up in September, and it'll be just about when I get back from Africa and coming back on. So I don't know. I'll do some of the books that are in Banned Book Week. It have been banned books. It's a national. Let's see. National Banned Book Week is Banned Book Week. It is September 18th through the 24th. And it is, it's the most fun. It's the most fun, really. I'll be just back in the country on the 18th. And, but it is a great fun. If you get a chance to go to your local libraries or your local bookstores, you will find bookstores and libraries that do displays of books that have been banned and in different places and for what reasons. It's pretty amazing to see the reasoning on some of them and what has happened. For some, yeah, it's just being a librarian. It's like I said, if it's your family, if you make a choice to not have your children check a book out, that's perfectly acceptable, but it doesn't give you any say in what another family checks out, and it doesn't give you any say in what is kept in the library for everyone to make that choice on. Just saying. Yeah, I will. When I do back, even if I'm a little late on Banned Book Week, we'll do the things and what the why they were banned. The 2022 theme this year is, let's see, what's the theme this year? Let's see. It is Books Unite Us. Censorship Divides Us. Banned Book Week. So that's this year's theme. And it has virtual readout book videos, resources, events, promotional tools, latest news, all kinds of stuff. Banned Book Week coordinator and the ALA Office for Intellectual Freedom. ALA Office for Intellectual Freedom is the American Library Association, which sponsors this, and with the Banned Book Week Coalition. It's a cool thing. Anyway, the next book, I could hardly find anything about the author or the illustrator. I did find this about the illustrator. The author was not so much. Irene Luxbacher is a Canadian artist and an author of a children's book illustrator. After graduating with a degree in art history from Queen's University, she went on to study fine art, specifically drawing and painting, at Emily Carr University in Vancouver. And she returned to Toronto in '94. She exhibited her work while teaching art at the Avenue Road Art School and consulting. And she's just been illustrating a bunch of books. I'm going to read this one, Malaika's Surprise, and then there's another one, Malaika's Carnival Queen. It's a book that is set around, kind of around, there, hold it. Where am I? Around Carnival, and this little girl, well, it's not around Carnival, it's around her birthday, and some things that happen within her family. And I just wanted to fit this in because it's a beautiful book, and also that whole bit about the family dynamics and how things happen, what they bring and what families deal with and go through, and how they're dealt with it in different ways and in different places. And oftentimes it's the same in so many different things. What's this? Carol, Julia says, makes me, oh yes, and I have big opinions, yes. Yeah, yes, Kelly. Can you imagine what it was like for me as a librarian? But no, it really wasn't that. It was just a matter of balance. And, some people would say, oftentimes they go, well, you're not letting a first grader check out Goosebumps, even if they could read it. And I said, okay, hold it. I'm not letting a first grader check out Goosebumps not because I disagree with Goosebumps or anything like that. It's not a disagreement. I personally don't care for the Goosebumps series, but I see where it is in a progression for reading. The reason I didn't let first graders have it was oftentimes because the level of writing was more than they could understand. Even if the child could read it, they didn't often understand the context or what it was, and their level of development for discerning made up and reality could become confused, and so it wasn't age appropriate. Okay, it's very difficult to find chapter books for first grader who could read chapter books that are age appropriate in so many ways. I remember very well, I was one of those children. But then as they progress, when I would see, then as late second grade, third grade, it was fine. And then I could move them on to a better suspense mystery like author like Peg Carrot. That's a whole nother conversation. As a librarian, and a teacher, that was my responsibility to do that. To find age appropriate, not in terms of whether or not I agreed with the subject or not, but whether or not the child was age appropriate to handle the content in a lot of different ways. So, yes, okay. Next, okay, so this story, where am I going? I'm right here, and is it right there? How did that get there? Oh, there it is. I know why that's on the thing. I was on the wrong spot. Let me go back here. I forgot to get to the next book. I was yammering. You guys are letting me yammer tonight. Seriously? Uh-oh, where did it go? Come on, it's here. There it is. Malaika's Surprise. Now the illustrations in this, you guys, are just, whoa, the colors, so cool. So cool. Malaika's Surprise. It's summertime. Every day, Adele and I put on masks and colorful capes to play carnival. We dance to the soca music coming from the windows of our house. We sing, "Carnival is here, Carnival tes," again and again until we fall down laughing. I see a little girl looking at us. "Who's that?" I say. "Kay?" Adele asks, but the little girl is gone. "Malaikaa, Adele," Papa Frederick calls. "Dinner time." "Okay, Papa," we say, dragging our feet home. At dinner, I ask Mummy, Can the little girl next door come out to play? Which little girl? She asks me. I tell Mummy about her. Sounds like a new friend, she say. Not the only new little one, says Papa Frederick. Girls, you will have a baby brother or sister soon. Mummy smile, rubbing her belly. Around the time of your birthday, Malaikaa. Yay! Okay, here we go. Un petit bébé, Adele say, clapping her hands. What? I ask. What will it be like when the baby come? Will Mummy forget about me? I try to finish my dinner, but I don't want any more. I feel a little better when I think about school. I can't wait to see my teacher, Madame Boulian. I like the way that they write this book in the not in proper quote unquote English, but in the way that a second language learner might translate and leave out all the superfluous stuff that we have in the English. I wait and wait until first day of school come. When I see Madame Boulian, I hug her. All the kids are here and a new girl. It is the little girl from the window. She come from a far place just like me. She talk different like to me. Her name is Malaikaa M. Why is she crying? I will tell her it will be okay. Malaikaa M is my new friend. Madame Boulian asks me to make pictures of our families. I paint mine with everyone I love. I even paint a bump on Mummy's tummy. Malaikaa M's picture of her family looks perfect. She is the best painter I ever see. At home time, a tall brown man come for Malaikaa M. Yalla, Malaikaa, hey. Let me kiss it this. Habibiti, he says. Like your name, Papa, Fred said to me. Bye, Malaikaa, I say. At home, Mommy is knitting socks for the baby. When I put my hand on her tummy, I feel little kicks. Adele wants a girl baby to dress up like a doll, but I don't know what I want. I wait, and when it's my birthday, I wake up to hugs and kisses from Mummy and a peacock card that Adele make. Papa Fred play on the fiddle. Everyone sing Bonne fête à toi. After we have breakfast, it's my favorite cornmeal porridge and fried plantain. I hear a car beep outside. Our surprise is early, Mummy say. You'll love it, Adele smile. Je suis. I hold my breath and close my eyes. Then I hear the door. Grandma, I cheer. Child, you look like you see ghost, she say, and give me a big hug. I miss you. Why did you come? I ask. You think I was going to miss my two grandbabies' birthday? She say. When Grandma come, she bring love and sunshine cards and my friends back home and even my peacock carnival costume. Mommy say I'm going to have my birthday party at school too. Adele and I play carnival dance and giggle while Grandma and Mummy make doubles and a cake for me to share. The next day after breakfast, I put on my peacock carnival dress costume. Adele begged me to put makeup on my face and I let her. I am ready. I say, let's go, Mummy. Mummy? Malaikaa, your Mummy can't come today, Grandma say. But she promised. Can you come? Sorry, Grandma say, but it's time. The baby is coming. Papa Frederick, Grandma, and Mummy rush to the hospital while Adele and I take the big yellow bus to school. When I get to school, my teacher and the kids sing Bonne fine. I don't know if I'm saying that right to me. But the doubles Grandma make are cold and the cake crush up in my bag. I don't feel like my birthday. I miss Mommy. Malaikaa M give me a surprise that she make a special card for my birthday. The card have my brown and pink family. She even draw a baby. Familia, she say, and other words in her different talk as she pointed big red heart in the picture. She hold my hand and say, all okay. Papa Frederick pick up Adele and me from school. We go straight to the hospital. Papa Frederick take us up in an elevator. Where is Mummy? Mummy, we cheer and run to her. My girls, she smile. We want to hug her, but Mummy is holding a blanket. Someone wants to meet you, Papa Frederick says. Malaikaa, Adele, this is Emily, Mummy say. Notre petit frère? Adele touched his yellow blanket. Galang Chele, go hug up your baby brother, Grandma say. I sit on the bed beside Adele and Mummy all together. We hold my little brother. I touch his soft hands. Does he know I'm his big sister? I think of all the things I will teach him. I know he will love Carnival and Soca. I kiss his little face. Bienvenue. Welcome, Emile. I just love the art in this book. And she said, her first picture book won the Helen Isabel Canadian Children's Story Award and the Elementary Teachers Federation of Honor. She's also an author of Malaika's Winter Carnival, How Jamaican poet Louise Bennett Coverley found her voice. So Nadia's writing is inspired by her childhood memories, Jamaican heritage, Black culture, world travels, and social issues. She lives in Toronto. So you have the Jamaican dialect going on, you have culture, you have the mix with French, Canadian. It's pretty cool. Very soft art. I know that. Very beautiful colors. And there. So, my vantage point on the planet. Why does Larry need a sextant? Used to have the freedom to choose stuff. Now you may have to catch a plane to exercise that right, but I'm veering off course as usual. Ah, yes. Yes. If deaf children don't speak in complete sentences because they don't hear. Yeah. It's Larry's like to keep him on course. Larry, I found a book today at the museum, but I checked it out of the library that I'm going to add to. Yeah, it's a very cool one. I think you'll get a kick out of it. Not tonight, because I just got it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. And but anyway, yeah, it was. This was not as dangerous a trip to the museum as when I went to the Seattle Art Museum. There I ran into children's books that I had to have. Here I kind of looked at them and checked my Libby and checked them out. There was a couple, yeah, but I found a couple cool ones. I'm glad you liked it, Helen. Thank you. I know, I just about the families. I remember when Rory was born and how Rook, you know, the fact that they got to be there, Rook and McLean got to be there and see her just after she was born, because they were downstairs and Mom was giving birth upstairs in the living room in a birthing tub. Yeah, so it's kind of fun to see that when it mixed and have it happen on her birthday. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, you guys, that was my stories for today. I had a great day, great art, and it was fun to come back and have these two to share with you. And Tango Makes Three is one of my very favorites. I'd forgotten just what a great book it was, and I until I had read the afterword of that by the author, I had not known that it was the most banned book in the country. What can you do but shake your head and continue to read them? And continue to read them. Anyway, you guys, I am going to head out. I'm going to get my new hard drive, hook it up, see if I've got things going right, check, make things, everything's, because it's getting down to the wire. I'm down to 10, tomorrow's 10 days. Yay. But everything's come in. I'm all good. I got my photography vest that I can hold my my laptop. It's actually a vest. Okay. I think I told you that I had to get a vest that I could put my laptop in the back pocket because of the weight restrictions of carry-on, and they only let one carry-on. So you can't have a carry-on and your purse. Your purse is considered your carry-on, or, you know, because people just have gone kind of crazy. So I've had to be rather creative. I'll tell you all about it. Well, will be fun. It'll be fun when Bob and I get everything all packed together to see how it goes. His very logical left brain way, and I have a vision of how it's going to look, and he wants to know step by step. Yeah. Siri just came up on my iPad, said, "Sorry, I couldn't find logical left freeway."
I'm sorry.
Yeah, never mind, Siri. Oh gosh, you guys, I think I'm gonna go make that lemon drop after I get my new hard drive loaded up. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here, for listening in on this story, joining the story circle, and having some fun with story and art, for being here for tonight's show, and for inviting me into your home, for letting me share these wonderful books with you, and for just showing up all the time. It's amazing. It makes me feel wonderful, and I thank you so much. So until next time, you guys, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around. Go look in the mirror and say hi to it. Hi, Helen. Oh, okay, Linda. Yes, I will. Also got a free nose tickle. Ouch. Oh, those free nose tickles. I did one of those to myself the other day. Yeah. He probably will stop in on the lives. That'll be pretty funny. Yeah. Conjunctivitis. Oh, yay. I used to get that as a teacher all the time. Yuck. Thank you, Mrs. Shepard. You're welcome. You're welcome, Larry. Thank you for coming to class. Apple for the teacher. Yay, thank you for that. Tickle that thumb. falling behind. I only have like 12 books checked out, you guys. I've only borrowed 582 books out of Libby. Which books I sampled? That's hilarious. Two different things. Night, everybody.